very pleased to say that we have with us this evening Her Excellency, Her Royal Highness Princess Lala Jumala Alawi. Can you please show your application for our first we are celebrating this Eid for the last 12 years, but this is the first time that the Speaker of the House is present with us and going to speak to you this evening. It is my privilege and honor to invite my very good friend, Speaker of the House, John Barku, who is, I believe, is passionate friend of the minority communities in the United Kingdom.
Mohammed Saeeda Sadiq, parliamentary colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, for me it is a wonderful opportunity and an immense privilege to be with you this evening. I think I can honestly say that it is the first time that a Speaker of the House of Commons has publicly marked Eid, or indeed, frankly, any other Muslim festival. But I hope you'll agree with me when I say that although it is certainly the first time, equally certainly, it shall not be the last. I would like to think that the celebration of a very important festival in a crucially significant religion will become part of the mainstream of parliamentary celebration and parliamentary recognition and parliamentary life long into the future. I think that it is hard to overstate the fellow feeling that we ought to experience, and there is so much concentration and focus on points of difference between the various religious communities that one could be forgiven for forgetting or minimizing the significance of the points of similarity, the points of agreement, the points of common importance and common focus. There was an interesting piece on Radio 4, Thought for the Day. I think only this morning I heard it, which reminded us, or informed those of you who didn't know for the first time, that it was Malcolm X who thought again about the merits of an exclusively black state in the United States of America when he made the Hajj. And after that experience, he came to realize that it was really very unwise to think in such narrow and exclusivist terms. And if one reflects on the significance of Eid and the story behind it, and then one considers the mainstream of the Christian religion, and indeed of the Jewish tradition to boot, we are reminded very forcefully and pertinently of the similarity, the common message, the unifying focus, the experience of Ibrahim on the one hand and of Abraham on the other. And we come back to those very important concepts which are, for goodness sake, at the heart of all decent religions. Concepts of family, concepts of sacrifice, concepts also, critically, colleagues, of equality. And it is upon these that we should focus. And I caught the tail end of other contributions as I came in the room. And I wanted myself very robustly to underline that all of us in this room, irrespective of our religious background or our cultural traditions or our family experience, should be uniting in common cause against the evil forces of fascism which so disfigure any country in which they operate. And it's often said, well, the Speaker of the House has to be impartial. Well, I do have to be impartial, colleagues, as between members of one democratic party and another, and as between members of democratic parties and people who serve in Parliament as independents. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm absolutely under no obligation whatsoever to be impartial as between the forces of decency on the one hand and the forces of evil on the other. People who belong to a party whose whole defining ethos is hatred of others on grounds of race or colour or creed cannot be treated in the same way as everybody else is treated. So from my point of view, it's, as I say, a very memorable experience to be with you. I hope the opportunity will arise again. And if I could be forgiven for concluding what is a very solemn but also a happy occasion on a more light-hearted note, I say to you, colleagues, that I am fortunate to be able to stand at this lectern on a little rostrum, because when I was elected, it was said in some of the crueler parts of the press that I was actually the shortest person ever to be elected Speaker of the House. Now, colleagues, I'm not bothered about it. It doesn't trouble me. I've never been bothered about being small. Lots of good things come in small packages. There is a but. I've done my little bit of historical research, colleagues, and this argument that I'm the shortest is not actually true. Sir John Bussey, Speaker of the House of Commons, from 1394 to 1398, Sir John Wenlock, Speaker from 1455 to 1456, and Sir Thomas Tresham, Speaker of the House in 1459, are all believed to have been shorter than I am. Although I have to admit, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to admit that this was true only after all three of them had been beheaded. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to join you in celebrating Eid. I hope that we feel for each other a mutual love and respect. And for so long as I am Speaker, you will always be welcome. I hope I shall be welcome with you. And let's work together for the common good of humanity.